Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Game number 2 is about to begin here for day 3 of the PELC promos. My name's Esquire, your commentator for this tournament. It's a pleasure to be here with you guys, watching this epic PUBG play out, watching these teams compete to be in those top 9 positions at the end of the tournament to advance into phase number 1 of the PELC for 2020. Fight Club having a crazy game to start off the day, walking away with 26 points, putting them up in first place position. They started in second place and have now not just taken away first place position from the Istanbul Wildcats, but done so in a dominant fashion. A pretty significant point gap has been established by Fight Club at this stage of the tournament. Your bottom 8 of the lobby as it stands. HaKoHe sits in 9th place position. They are the cutoff point at pretty much the stage of the game for being able to move into PELC for 2020. CrazyCrew not too far behind, though. You can see only 3 points separate those two squads from pretty much not being in the PELC and advancing on the path to Pro League. Top 8 teams that are going to be pretty happy with their performance so far. A few teams more comfortable than others, though. As we continue on here, you can see Brute Force down at the bottom, 51 points. That's not too much of a gap from the position in 10th that we just saw the CrazyCrew members. Hakkapeliittas moving up into 7th place. Melt to Power holding on to 6th. Stellar in 5th. ADR Farmers in 4th. Tony Team in 3rd. Istanbul Wildcats in 2nd. And of course, as we've talked about a lot in the past 10 minutes or so, Fight Club coming in first place position. Fall Chaos, we've got 16 games in total to be played out here through this 4-day tournament, at least for stage number 2. Some of these teams, 8 of them to be exact, have been playing already throughout stage number 1, which was a pretty much identical tournament to this, a 4-day tournament, in which the top 8 from that 16-team lobby were able to advance here into stage number 2. Plane Path going to be coming out here on our only game of Miramar of the day. Out of the eastern coast and up towards the northwestern corner of the desert is where we are going to be heading. Plane Path ending around the Alcantara area of the map. Favored up here towards the northeast, which becomes more of a problem than we saw on Sanhok, given the fact of the size implications of Miramar, 8x8 kilometer map. Does create a little bit more of an issue when you're trying to take time out of that loot phase to soar over to that location. Qualification criteria to get into the PELC for 2020 out of this tournament for phase number 1 is just going to be making it into the top 9 of this stage. These teams have really fought through thick and thin to get here. Some teams on the bottom side, of the contenders lobbies. Unfortunately, with a nasty plane path to kick it off up towards the northeast, a similar circle will be popping up as well for phase number 1. Down here to the southeast is where we are going to be going, centered off of the mountains off to the east of Los Leones. This is one of the more devastating circles that you can get here on Miramar. It's going to be a circle that many squads are unhappy to see, specifically our majority of teams up here towards the northwest. This is going to force some early rotations by teams that didn't expect to have to be making that Melt to Power. They're going to be fairly happy with what they see on the far eastern coast, down here favored towards the south. Already securing a few vehicles for the mid to late game thought process. As we take a look around the map, some of our teams that will have difficulty in making these rotations are going to be the ADR Farmers, Myca, the rest of the crew, taking up an El Pozo, uncontested, yes, but very, very far off. And we'll be making likely early rotations to try to counteract that. Preachers, they know it, they love it. It's going to be Picado, where they have been dropping throughout the entirety of the tournament so far. You name it. And the rest of the crew, with one of the more, I'd say, relaxed rotations. It's certainly not going to be easy. Nothing's going to be easy here in this game. It will continue to be a little bit difficult based off of just the nature of this circle. Water going to be in play. It's very polarized down here towards the southeast. Teams are going to be put in uncomfortable positions, possibly positions that they haven't gotten too much experience in competitive settings in that area of the map. those rotations. Early scouts already going to be coming out here. Celis for Stellar inside of the tall stack apartments will be spotting out HaKoHe's Fike as they roll over the plateau. The counter position essentially for this area of the map for that compound that Stellar is trying to lock down for their own. Preacher is going to be rolling off of Picado as well. A rotation at about 3.5 minutes. It's a fairly early rotation. The average rotation time on these 8x8 kilometer maps for Miramar and Erangel, respectively, is around the 4 to 4.5 minute mark. So this is definitely a product of these teams recognizing the difficulties posed by this phase 1 circle. 25 seconds on the clock, though, until that blue zone will begin to pressure down towards the southeastern side of the map. And we'll get a better indication of where this game is going to be going, if it's going to continue to have water implicated off of the east and off of the south, which drastically reduces the play area for these teams to work off of. Preachers having a bit of a mistake there. That's going to be a vehicle explosion by Major, which does take them out of the game. There's going to be no help coming for that player. They have wiped out. The first blood again claimed in a unfortunate set of circumstances for a team. It happened in the previous game. It's going to be happening here again. Fight Club pushing up here, intertwined with the members of Level Iffy inside of a shack on the about 20 meter separated position here inside of the small little compound on the hillside. Other members of Level have been alerted of this and will be rolling off of that northeastern position they currently hold on. However, Fight Club also had a few teammates sprinkled along the hillside and could possibly face off against that pressure with no cover to seek behind. Istanbul Wildcats pushing down here to the south. They're going to be finding a convenient rotation and a convenient area of the map to take up shelter in as we wait for that phase 2 circle to pop in about 3.5 minutes time. Back to the fight that we saw starting to at least develop. Circle for Fight Club will be kicking it off here. Our first actual knock of the game after that vehicle explosion taking out one of the Preachers will be had onto Moonlight. And you have to remember, guys, Level is one of those squads that we saw in Sanhok go down and out very, very quickly. They were able to get that double knock with the vehicle. I believe secured the kills as well. However, were quickly ripped apart by the ADR farmers. Here, a different team, but pretty much the same story, as they already have suffered one knock, and they will be facing off against one of the more aggressive, one of the more confident, and sure enough, the point leaders on the leaderboards. Fight Club may be sensing a retreat here and has an opportunity to pressure on top of this based off of those Overwatch positions held onto the hillside. But should be good for now. Transitions coming out. Tony team going to be making their movements here. 2 Broncos secured. 2 members going to be in both. Well, ideally be trying to find a few more vehicles to take in to this phase 1 circle. But Intruders, Murfle, facing off against about 5 HP away from getting knocked down, is somehow able to stay alive as staXx pounds out the 5.56 rounds of the Mini 14 into that direction. Pulling off of this, Brute Force, McKenzie going to be spotting out the Tony team rotation that we had just previously seen. It looks like Tony team was able to pick up an extra vehicle, a buggy, but in doing so, stalled out the rotation a little bit and slowed them down in the face of danger. That's going to be McKenzie now pushing off of this Monte Nuevo position. We saw the other 3 members of Brute Force going to be employing vehicles, already transitioning further down to the south. Blue zone just off of the edge of Monte Nuevo now as well. And we're seeing a lot of commotion coming out here from these rotations, trying to make their way from north down to the south. It's going to be BorisNeBanPls perfectgod coming in with a nice spray down onto the vehicle transition of Crazy's Vital, finishing him off with the SKS, picking up the kill point, putting it in the pocket. And CrazyCrew continues on with 1 member down. STaravillo will need to be careful proceeding forward. The Bronco is going to be smoking, and they're in the blue zone as well. So we'll be making a late rotation, one that possibly sees other teams already. Oh, this is not good. I believe they were, no, I don't even think they scouted it out. They're going to be trading out the vehicle, but in doing so, they've stalled on the very, oh, no. Flasm, what a shot, a double headshot within about a few seconds of one another, does successfully find those 2 members of the CrazyCrew who were trying to swap out the vehicles. They were trying to save their teammate. from that smoking mess, and unfortunately will not be able to do so. In comes a massive, massive play for Level. Those shots, oof. Put that on the highlight clip. Beamy for Stellar, going to be knocked down. Facing off against their first casualty of the game, the Intruders. Mkaelovich is able to capitalize on that from the northern position of where Stellar currently holds. See chat reacting to that that double headshot. Yeah, that was pretty nasty. That was a great play. A great play for sure. Blue Zone going to be closing out here. Phase number 1 is done and dusted. As phase number 2 comes out, it's going to be a shift back towards the mainland, over towards the northwestern side of where phase number 1 was. And a shot comes out as ADR's Myca going to be crashed upon literally with the Bronco Blacklight. With the Scar headshot, is able to find the spray down. And down goes Myca. A crazy 1v1 engagement there. Not sure how players survived. Oh, no. The Blue Zone Blacklight. I was just about to say, not sure how players survived with all that damage going out, including the Blue Zone. But unfortunately, the sacrifice has been made. ADR farmers will likely not be able to recover off of that knock, and will be continuing on with 3 members alive. Blacklit. It's blacklit, not blacklight. Excuse me. How could I have ever mixed that up? But I will get it right moving forward for you. That second phase still is going to be pushing off some teams from the Blue Zone. Those pilots starting to enter off of the Blue Zone position. We'll have about another 200 to 300 meters to go. As they make their way off. Royalty, I see a lot of support coming in for this squad here in the chat, so make sure to throw it up for Jesse and the rest of the crew as he and Infection try to at least push themselves forward. Phase number 2 Blue Zone is going to be pushing in now up here towards the northwestern side of where phase number 1 was previously located. Still going to have teams trying to make adjustments, trying to find a more priority position inside of the circle. But I think many are realizing that based off of those chaotic shifts down here to the south, not many teams are in predictable positions, or at least scouted positions based off of VOD review, etc. So that could be the unknown factor that lends itself to be a little bit more chaotic of a mid to late game than we have seen in previous Miramar matches inside of stage number 2. But time will tell as far as that is concerned. 11 minutes here into the match, and we still have all 16 teams alive, have lost only 7 players in the lobby. So still going to be a very strong presence for these squads as it currently stands. Level coming in off of that nice pickup onto the members of CrazyCrew will be finally getting into a position where they no longer have to get ticked down by any of that Blue Zone damage, even though it's minimal at this stage in the game. As time does go by, it does certainly deplete and wear down some of that utility in the form of meds that you were looking to take into the mid to late game, and certainly might be necessary here on Miramar. We take a look at Pluto, one of the remaining members, possibly the only remaining member of this CrazyCrew squad. He's got the bike parked inside of the building. Will be saving that mode of transportation for a fast escape or a fast transition as the game progresses, but isn't going to be looking too bad. We take a look at the spot where Stellar had previously held in the beginning of the game. Now Stellar is favored towards a very priority position in the center of phase number 2, going to be holding on to the hillside, which is, it's priority position. It's going to favor them as well in this next shift, but it does become a little bit more difficult to hold these open 360-degree fields of view without all 4 members alive. This next shift, a bit of a nudge up towards the northeast, will be forcing some small but possibly dangerous rotations, specifically coming out of the Brute Force squad inside of Leonis. They've got to push from west to east with the Istanbul Wildcats holding the high ground. And the Preachers down to the south of that, possibly going to be ramping into a southern entry inside of phase number 3. Shots come out. Level push up onto the compound that is held by Fight Club. Circle and Rizzle going to be trying to make a last stand here. But the shots come out. The M416 spray does ring true, and down goes Circle. The first knock for this engagement as the other 2 members of Level roll up and try to throw some support onto this area of the map. Looks like Rizzle's going to be fully departing. Here's the support rolling up from the level squad. Doesn't know how many members are going to be pushing up, but a 1v anything, at least in that scenario, is going to be enough for Fight Club to push on. They've got such a dominant lead here in the lobby. If they can continue to put points up on the board and keep that consistency high, even 5-point games for Fight Club are going to be massive. So we will see what they're going to be able to do here. HaKoHe going to be holding on top of the plateau just off of the east of Los Leones, engaging in a bit of a poke battle with Dos Pilots. Mill to Power, our second place squad from the first game of the day on Senok, going to be in another quiet position. They're a team that hasn't been too active in the early to mid game, but really explode in the late game. And we've talked about that, how late game kills, they really have more of an impact. And by more of an impact, you can almost address more value or assign more value over to those eliminations. Brute Force feeling a little bit of pressure coming off of HaKoHe to the north. We'll be rotating back down around this base of the hillside to find a little bit of cover to get those meds rolling. But in doing so, they drew attention over to one of their vehicles, possibly their only vehicle in that location, and the motorcycle will be disabled. Royalty 4 live as they have reunited inside of a compound in a good position inside of the circle, a little bit off to the east of where we were currently or previously looking. Big Nade's going to be soaring up into the air, up on top of the hillside, trying to find their connections onto the Istanbul Wildcats as a massive flank comes out by Genzo and his teammate. The distraction was successful, and HalloSenpai is going to be capitalized and dropped down because of it. McKenzie in a pinch position, but with the AKM spray down, is able to find the headshot connection onto BSD. Not able to close it out, though, before the frag grenade comes in clutch and lands a double. Coming up for Genzo and the Istanbul Wildcats. Northeastern circle shift going to be coming up here in phase number 4. Royalty sits in a prime position to possibly take down another good point game for them. Remember, they came up with, I believe, 8 points in game number 1. We've talked about this squad, but I don't think we've talked about them enough. They haven't really gotten their spotlight just yet, and it's because they sit at the bottom of the leaderboards. They haven't really shown performances throughout these games. They've been one of the teams that gets dismantled pretty quickly, but now they've got an opportunity here to continue to claw back if they continue to have these types of games. A Bronco, oh my God, is this gonna happen? Oh no. Oh man, I wanted to see if that was going to hit the players. It ended up not hitting the players. We saw it in the kill feed, but that rogue Bronco flying down the hill was it was reminiscent back to PGI, where Team Liquid, back when Scoom was on Team Liquid, and Scoom and Ibiza had something similar happen. Popping over to level, they continue to be caught up in these engagements. They're not able to get any reprieve from battle whatsoever. And we'll be holding on 3 strong on the northern side of the compound here with the Dos Pilots. Definitely engaged on this. There's not going to be any disengage for this fight. This is going to be a fight that pops off to the end for at least one of these squads. Sabin of Tony team in the kill feed is able to pick off the final member of Preachers. Down goes Legendary to a frag grenade. And out go the Preachers, our second team to be eliminated from this game. Good pressure nade coming out from Dos Pilots. Polo with that nade from the second story balcony. Will be getting very close over to Iffy. Spots him out. Nice headshot connection. Going to be coming in for Lipsin. Tags down one of the members of level for 50 damage before they were able to find cover behind the building. So Dos Pilots, they are wearing down their opponent, but as for right now, things remain fairly even. Drawing in the third-party presence of Royalty from a distance will be adding a little bit of chaos into the mix here. Bit of a standstill right now between these squads, trying to just hold these angles while more engagements pop off around the map. Boris, I believe, yeah, that was I believe spectator bug right there. They're not going to be eliminated. Obviously, we see them on the screen right now. Sando going to be res right now, but a nade right at their footstep somehow keeps both of them alive. A reknock on the Sando, however, First nade didn't get it. The second nade came in clutch, and ADR farmers end up doing just that, farming the ADR and picking off the members of Boris. Istanbul Wildcats on a mad sweep around the southwestern side of phase number 4. We'll be finding massive connections onto Stellar. Moleman gets dropped down and out. Going to be looking for Jamba Way over here as Laza pushes down the hillside. Spray going to be very much so finding its connection. Laza playing very well so far here in this match. Down goes Jamba Way. Another casualty over for Stellar, with I believe just now Celis remaining in a 1v4 scenario, is going to be desperately trying to just get away. At the very least, reset the engagement, try to get a favorable position, one that's not going to be known by the members of Istanbul Wildcats. At the best, just get the hell out of Dodge and completely become a non-factor for that squad. Next shift will be coming out, and on this trajectory towards the north is where Celis will have to continue as a solo player for Stellar. That compound up on the northern side of this next circle between Level and Dose Pilots continues to remain the same, but with the knock coming out for the Dose Pilots, that's their opportunity to push, but push into the barrel of Plasm is exactly where they go. Another knock going to be coming out. I trade back and forth, 2 down, but it ends up going the way of Dose Pilots, who are able to wipe out Level in 13th place position here in game number 2 of the day. Dose Pilots still going to have a good opportunity to at least pick one more member up on that squad, remain 2 alive, but Tony team find themselves in now a similar situation to the previous engagement we were watching. Anaka does come out. They are facing off against Hakkapeliittas in a bit of a 2-2 split. Hakkapeliittas has 2 members up here towards the north on the southern side of phase number 5, playing gatekeeper, playing the third-party referee role across this wide open field. The shots ring true from Patrick in this location. We were just talking about Sabin gets knocked down and out. Tony team suffering mad casualties. Istanbul Wildcats trying to make a mad dash here towards a centralized position of the circle. We'll be rolling up to this embankment that provides them with a little bit of cover, but right amongst the members of Milta Power is where Apocalypse and Ginza will be stopping. And the shots come out. Easy connections for Milta Power to find. Blacklit does go down and will be flushed out of the game as other members of the Istanbul Wildcats meet the exact same fate. Milta Power starting to come alive just at the 20.5-minute mark, which is what we talked about. They're not an early game team. They're not a mid-game team. But boy, oh boy, you put Milta Power into the late game, and they are going to be coming up with some kills, likely going to be coming up with some significant placements, if not a chicken dinner. Intruders rolling in onto the back position of the Istanbul Wildcats as the shots come out. Massive, massive spray down and nade from Nailcop. What just happened there? Laza went down to the M416 spray of Nailcop. A nade comes out from Nailcop and flushes out the remainder of the Istanbul Wildcats. That's a big play. Intruders are going to be riding high off of that little performance. It's the small victories, or the massive victories, at least in this case, I think, for Nailcop. Yeah, Nail Cop, more like Nail Pog, is exactly right, as a double drop will be landing right in between the members of Royalty and the Intruders. Both teams trying to push over towards this. It could be paying off huge for whatever squad reaps the benefits of the level 3 crates and possibly powerful weapons inside as well. This is going to be a fight with many implications, as well as Celis from Stellar still going to be creeping up on the backside. Suppy and his teammates pushing over, trying to secure the crate, but Celis acts alive. He's going to be coming out here. Hakkapeliittas dropping members left and right, able to drop, I believe, a knockdown and a flush for Stellar. Royalty with 2 kills to their name so far. A lot of smoke's going to be deployed to give them a bit of concealment to work off of and pick off what lies inside of these crates without losing anything in the process. Infection going to be hanging back in the Overwatch position, keeping tabs on this compound, going to be holding it for his teammates who have pushed down to the south to try to secure that western side of the circle. Royalty, after pushing out a little bit from the comfort from the safety of the compound, will be pulling back at least 1 or 2 members as Infection feeds the information to his teammates that there are going to be squads pushing in from this northern position, specifically HaKoHe, that sits about 150 meters to the north of where Royalty is currently holding. 8 teams remain now. Mark that 7 as the Dose Pilots are going to be spotted by HaKoHe. Fiend and Lazy work in tandem to capitalize on top of Lipsin and Pola. Down they go. ADR Farmers now becoming very active in the kill feed as well. They've spotted out the other team that they've been contesting with. And as far as kills go, Fight Club came up huge in game number 1. However, ADR Farmers are trying to reclaim not just that title of being the kill leaders in the lobby, but they also want first place. That's going to be high on their minds. Murfle taking significant damage to the frag grenade coming off of Melt of Power. Is all but flushed out of the game with about 5% HP. That last nade coming in from Yuang will be doing enough damage. I mean, it was a little bit far away. It was really all it needed to do. And then the third nade comes in and finds the flush. Down goes Murfle for the intruders. Another kill going to be secured for Melt of Power, pushing forward. 7 teams still remain, 19 players alive as we enter into the late game moments of Miramar. Royalty still looking good. I mean, here's the thing. Like we were talking about with Melt of Power, you don't need to be an early to mid-game aggressor. You just need to kind of hold out until teams have been battered down, keep all 4 members alive, and play priority position as much as possible. Certainly, some teams are unable to avoid engagements. Sometimes you have to take them by necessity. But Royalty still sits, at least in a very good position, as we continue to watch phase number 6. Close out, 15 seconds on the board until we do see that phase 7 transition. More poke shots will continue to go out between the 7 remaining squads on the map. There's the next shift. Phase 7 does go down to the southeast. Fight Club going to be holding on to the northeastern edge of this circle. Down to the south, Melt of Power holds on to a very dominant position, spread out, and really capitalizing on this 4-man squad opportunity here that they hold. Not many teams, only 2 others have been able to keep this 4-man advantage, HaKoHe and Royalty. The other squads to do so. Nailcop goes down. The intruders lose another member over towards Melt of Power. The knock inside of the shack is likely not going to be able to get picked up. You see Mkaelovich a little bit spread off down towards the south, lying behind a buggy, trying to maintain just staying alive before they snake their way into phase number 7. With the Power hears the shots off in the distance. We'll be trying to scout this out, but they also hear that powerful gun coming out from the members of Royalty. I believe Royalty currently hold on to an AWM, one that they were able to pick off from the 2 crates that landed in front of them about a few minutes ago. That's going to play into their ability to really take these engagements and have a little bit of favor on their sides. Pushing down this open area is not going to be easy for them. Many guns trained in this direction, and HaKoHe are already going to be applying that pressure from the northern side of things. Fike with the SKS is able to find the knockdown onto Jesse. Still going to be coming in. The ADR Farmers Anonymous is able to find that flush. Another member from Royalty gets knocked down. Ruin going to be spotted from Melt of Power. Kill going to be stolen back by HaKoHe. It's pretty much Melt of Power and HaKoHe ripping apart Royalty in that wide open position, which was once held dominantly by this squad. Now, unfortunately, sees them having to make that rotation. And it kind of plays into something that we've talked about throughout competitive PUBG. Buildings, compounds that can be a false sense of security for squads. You hold on to them for a long time. You feel pretty safe because of the massive cover that you get from that position. But once you have to move out of them in these late game scenarios, you really find yourself pinned down and with not a lot of room to do anything. HaKoHe, though, and engaging on top of Royalty, are going to be giving up their position, drawing pressure over to that location. Royalty keeps one alive, Suppy, but he is spotted out. Fiend comes in with the headshot spray down from the M416, and out goes Royalty. 5th place position, though, not going to be bad. They picked up a handful of kills as well. But now 4 teams remaining, 10 players alive. Flamyy for the ADR Farmers drops another nade on top of Melt of Power and finds a flush onto guess who. Melt of Power now facing off against their first casualty of the game. Fike spots out another one in that jump. Fine does go down for Melt of Power. Another knock for this squad. 2 members of that team going to be left on their feet here to try to compete in the final few moments of this Miramar match. Phase number 8 in full effect. 60 seconds on the board until that blue zone does meet the edges of this circle and shift us into the final phase of the game, the ultimate collapse in phase number 9. Working his way around the hillside, Yuang going to be having his eyes open a little bit more. Then Fike turns around, has the quick spray down, and out goes one more member of HaKoHe. Fiend going to be the remaining solo of that squad to try to champion for their team as they work off of that northern position still in the circle. Still going to be sitting fairly good. Lazy and Fiend are a little bit spread out, sort of insurance policies, able to protect one another from a distance should they need to. Fight Club, though, as you see, they're aggressively pushing over towards this side of the circle that HaKoHe hold on to. They're trying to clear out these flanks, these edges of phase number 8 as much as possible to open up their movement as they work their way in phase number 9 towards the center of the circle, that collapse point. ADR Farmer is going to be in this bit of a ravine, this bit of a valley right on the opposite side, pinched in between a Fight Club and Melt Power. A few nades could spell disaster for the squad, but for right now, they've remained undetected. I believe Flamyy is going to be missing a helmet here. Anonymous has already dropped the backpack. I believe Flamyy has kept it on. Banana Suits in full play. Going to be playing off that digital vibrance component of the game that we talked about. I believe in chat yesterday we talked about it. But it is interesting. Someone had asked why everyone wears banana suits. A bit of a standstill as these four teams try to maneuver their way around this ultimate collapse. The blue zone really acting as the force of pressure on the backside of these players. Down goes Fiend. Is going to be spotted out by Mage Bane to Melt Power. A quick spray down will be resulting in one member left for HaKoHe. The flush comes in. Melt Power puts another kill in the pocket. 11 so far here. Melt Power coming off of a second place finish on Sanhok. Definitely have a chicken dinner on their minds. ADR's Flamyy, though, ends up capitalizing on top of you, and down goes HaKoHe. The solo player of that squad is going to be found out by Fight Club. ADR Farmers spot out another member of Melt Power, and down they go. Two teams remaining here. It's going to be the ADR Farmers versus Fight Club, who's trying to find the back-to-back finish. ZorF with the 1v1 spray down is able to find it. Now going to be Flamyy versus ZorF. Flamyy spots him out, and with a few shots is able to find a 10-kill chicken dinner. Fight Club still going to be incredibly consistent. A second-place finish, but it doesn't match the chicken dinner, the 10-point total the ADR Farmers are going to be taken away in addition to their 10 kills. A solid game of PUBG played out here on Miramar, a circle that was incredibly difficult to play off of based off of its polarity down to the southeast, even to begin with. But all the way through the game, it was action-packed, leading off into that final 1v1 engagement. Begin again. Two of our teams that have shown to be the most aggressive squads here in the lobby with the most success. You can be aggressive and be very unsuccessful. Let's make that clear. But these teams have been able to play off of it. It is their strong suit. And what a great moment to see closing out the Miramar matches of the day, I do believe, as we transition into a double helping, a double serving, as Trid would say, of Erangel to cap off day number 3 of Stage 2 PELC promos. We'll continue to watch a few replays from this match, see how things progressed in that very quick 1-minute recap or so. It's a great shot, kind of highlighting the different areas of the game where we had some great moments. Level, this was one of them, facing off against Dose Pilots. Dose Pilots came up on top of it that time and ended up wiping out the entirety of Level in the process. Melt Power having a great game. I mean, we can't take anything away from what they were able to achieve here. They were a squad that had a double-digit kill count going out in, I believe, third-place position. So certainly a significant set of games for them as well. I believe they were in second place coming off of Sanhok with about 6 kills or so. So making a push, continuing to solidify that position in the top 9 on the leaderboards for Melt Power. Final moments here for Royalty, as they did have to push off of what was a saving grace position for them throughout the entirety of the game. Unfortunately, into the open is where they had to go. And with multiple guns looking in that direction, I believe it was Melt Power and HaKoHe that were both pounding shots in that direction. Final moments. Here's Flamyy in that 1v1 scenario, the perspective of ZorF trying to find the spray down. You can see the good connections right there coming out, but unfortunately was not able to close it out. A tall task in that final scenario to try to be able to do so, but it was a good effort from both squads. Here are your leaderboards coming off of rather just this match. Match number 10, 2 squads going to be walking away with 0 points. An unfortunate trend that continues to be followed by Brute Force walking away with 0 points from this game. It's not going to be helping them at all, and this could be one of the biggest drops, I think, that we've seen on the leaderboards throughout the 2019 tournament phases. Unfortunately, they were in first place going into day number 2 and are possibly going to be dropping down into the bottom half very shortly. ADR Farmers, though, a 20-point game is going to be huge for them on the leaderboards in terms of what it means contesting with that first place position. Magebane from Milt to Power going to be walking away with the top damage from this round. 34 damage above second place. Flamyy in there with 552 damage. Flamyy, though, takes the top kills, able to secure 5 kills off of that. And a solid game all around. Good kill numbers coming out from these teams. Let's stack up Milt to Power head-to-head them versus the ADR Farmers. You can see massive damage coming out from both squads, massive kills coming out from both squads, and massive points. Who would have thought it all goes hand in hand? Looking at 2 of the players from these squads, Magebane from Milt to Power and Flamyy from the ADR Farmers, and then your top leaderboards as they stand after the conclusion of 10 matches. 6 more games to be played out here in stage number 2 to dictate who are top 9 going into the PELC Phase 1 of 2020 will be. Fight Club still hold on to first place position. No surprises there. They had a massive game once again on Miramar. Regardless of the chicken dinner, 109 points. 21 points below them is going to be the ADR Farmers. A significant game for them, one that puts them above the Istanbul Wildcats. Rolling into the second half of today. As we continue to go down, you can see Brute Force going to be sitting in 9th place position, 3 points away from being passed up by the members of CrazyCrew and displaced down into the bottom, what is that? The bottom 7 teams that won't be making it into the PELC Phase 1 2020. Game number 2, done and dusted. We've got match number 11 and match number 12 coming up next. Don't touch that browser. Make sure it's a quick snack. And we'll be right back. Aaron Goal coming in hot.